Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're taking a look at the Christopher Watts case again. I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on in this case, and then I'm going to answer some viewer questions. Now, I have received in excess of over 400 questions total on Christopher Watts, people wanting, clarification and asking questions about the case. And I'm not going to have the time to answer, those questions here. So, and a lot of them I've tried to answer online as they were asked. But the ones that have been asked before, I'm just not going to go over them again. In particular, a lot of people are curious about the 45-minute drive that he took from the home to the place where he eventually would dispose of his family. What was that 45-minute drive like? Speed limit. Did he go past any businesses? Is there any surveillance? Did he stop for, at McDonald's like he normally does on the way to work with, things like that. But to answer them, really quickly, that one particular question, no, he did not stop on the way to work that day. He did stop afterwards on the way home. Did he stop, was there any surveillance along the way? No, not that I am aware of. It is a 45-minute drive, and basically just the desert is out there where he would have been driving. There's no businesses or anything that would have had surveillance of his vehicle that day. So, all right, now, so to go on to what is new in the case. So, a local attorney from he's actually from Boulder, Colorado, but he has been trying to get the court to unseal a couple of hearings that took place before Christopher Watts ever confessed and took the plea agreement. These were ex parte hearings and if you don't know what an ex parte hearing is, an ex parte hearing is basically the judge is there, the court reporter's there, bailiffs are there, but it's just the defense filing a motion that they want a hearing with the judge, and there were two ex parte hearings is what he has been working on, trying to get the court to unseal. So these were sealed then, and this was back, I believe, in the beginning part of October or middle of October of last year, and both of these had to do with HIPAA. And they wanted the court records sealed on releasing of medical information to the state, which would have been the prosecution in this case. And he's been working to try to get those two hearings and their findings and the HIPAA information released and unsealed. But he has gained an actual hearing in front of the judge now. His date for that case to hear the hearing will be August 5th at 9:30 a.m. there at the Weld County District Court. He will sit down in a hearing with the judge to talk about them. He will bring forth his request to have the records unsealed. So hopefully we'll find out what is really in that HIPAA filing in the ex parte filing hearing then. So that again, that is August 5th is when he will actually have that hearing, and hopefully we will gain information from then. Okay, and by the way, Scott Reish over on Crime Talk talked about these back in October, I believe, of last year as well. So it's all been sealed ever since then. All right, next thing, Christopher Watts' legal team. Two of the attorneys who were working on his civil case have stepped down, leaving only one counsel currently in place. The civil case, since Christopher Watts refused to actually fight the actual not criminal, but civil case, and just give up, and let the Rooshchick family have the money from the sale of the home, that and anything that he may have had in his retirement account, and he's not going to fight that wrongful death claim from the Rooshchicks. Two of the counsel have stepped down, only leaving one now in place. And this attorney has been with him since he was the criminal charges and everything else were originally filed. This is one attorney will be staying on. They don't need the other two, so they did file with the court that they are stepping down from his civil case. So, and the civil case will be wrapping up here, hopefully, in the next couple of months. They're hoping to maybe have that also cleared up and finished by the around the 30th of August. So August seems to be looking at we're going to get a lot more new information in August, especially if we find out what is really in those ex parte hearings that his legal team had there at within the case. So that's new on his legal side. Now, there has been a lot of talk and speculation that Christopher Watts wanted to file an appeal, and if he was to file an appeal, who would be paying for it? If he was to file an appeal, the only people who have the means to file an appeal, to pay for legal counsel, would be his parents, mainly his mother and father. His sister doesn't want anything to do with the entire case at all, from what I am told. Now, that is hearsay and speculation from my side, so I don't really want to get into that. But I am told that if he was, his parents would be it. Does he have grounds to appeal? Not really. Doesn't have. It's a 1 in like a billion chance. The only two grounds that he has to file an appeal would be, one, the DA and the court and the judge made such a grievous error against him. He could file an appeal on that side if they did. But I mean, it would be so obvious to everybody at this point if they did, and so that we know that there's not an error there. The other one would be that his defense refused to help him in any part of the bargaining agreement before he entered into the plea, or that they did not aid in his defense at any point, or made such grievous errors before the actual plea agreement was entered into. And again, there's nothing obvious to anybody who follows the actual legal proceedings in the case that any of that ever happened. Those are the only two grounds that he has to file an appeal. Because in the state of Colorado, when you take a plea agreement, you give up your rights to file an appeal on any other circumstances. They will never have to test the evidence. A lot of the evidence in this case has been destroyed. Yes, they have destroyed the evidence. They have incinerated the actual physical items that were being held in the chain of custody in this case. So like the bed sheets, the clothing of Shannon's, items that were found in and around the tank. All this stuff has been destroyed because there's no reason to ever keep it, because he can never file an appeal underneath it. And what evidence was collected from that, they destroyed all that evidence, but they kept the actual a sealed copy of the actual paperwork in that case. So, and all that, a lot of that has been sealed by the Rooshchick family, along with the Weld County DA has gone through and sealed that information, because the Rooshchick family doesn't want it out there. They want to heal, move on, and be done with all this. So that's where that's at right now. His two areas of file and appeal, slim to none, if anything, any chance at all. So, moving on. Next, his ex-neighbor, Nate Trent, is still currently working the lecture and talk show circuit. He has a new interview that will be coming out. And I gotta look at my notes here. That will be on the ID network. They probably will be around the 23rd to the 29th. The ID network is going, well, at least that's their tentative point where they're going to do another special on Christopher Watts. But he was interviewed for that along with the program. And yes, he is getting paid to take part in interviews, and just like he was when he was on the Dr. Oz show. When he was on the Dr. Oz show, he was paid $1,100 for his part in that interview. $500 of that doesn't go directly to him. $500 was to go to the a Salvation Army outreach program for shelter for domestic violence. So, he keeps $600, $500 of it goes to them. So there is some good in his actual interviews and talks that he has been giving. And that I'm told that from what I understand, he actually has a publicity agent for booking these actual interviews and talks. If that's his rate is still at $1,100 if you want to sit down and have an interview with him. All right. So now to some viewer questions about Christopher Watts. These are the most common ones that I have not addressed on Christopher Watts. First one comes from William David. William David wants to know about, was Christopher Watts assaulted in prison, and did he have to receive medical attention for this assault? And then he goes on, he tells me, where he saw this. Apparently a YouTube channel creator had spoken about he was assaulted and he needed medical attention. I would never be able to know that. That would be a violation of the HIPAA laws, and I highly doubt that creator knows anything about that, because there's nothing in mainstream media, and there's nothing on that was released in the last statement from the actual communications director from the Dodge Correction Center. Which, again, just to be absolutely clear, I don't know why anybody would say that they would be in contact with the warden from the Dodge Correction Center to get information about Christopher Watts. He has better things to do with his time. He's got 1,400 people that he has to be in charge of. Do you think he wants to know about one individual within his entire system that he is a warden or has to keep track of? That's why they have a communications department. Why would you contact a warden when they have a communications department? I don't know. All right, next question comes from Dr. Sarah, is the name on YouTube. Dr. Sarah would like to know if Nicole has been in contact with Christopher Watts since he has been incarcerated there at Dodge Correction Center. Again, according to the last statement from the communications department at Dodge Correction Center, she has not written him, and nor has he written her. Could she have been in contact with him underneath an alias, or him writing her underneath an alias? Yeah, very, very. It could have likely have happened, but there has been no communication, official communication, with her name, writing in, or him writing out to her. But I guess she could be using an alias, and he could know it. All right. Next question comes from Twitter from Tillerman. Tillerman wants to know, is it true that Christopher Watts is receiving 100% of all the donations that his fans have been giving him, along with the money from his parents in his inmate account? Is it true that he is getting 100% of these funds? Yes, he is getting 100% of all money that his fans and everybody has been sending him since day one that he was locked up in the Weld County Jail. He is receiving 100% of that money. Until the garnishment goes into effect, he will receive 100% of that money. And they know they cannot retroactively go back and apply the 60% garnishment rate to all proceeds that came in before then. But he has been receiving 100%, and he will continue to receive 100% until an actual order has been in place. So once the civil case is done, they will then attach that total $100,000, garnishment to his home and all his assets. The garnishment won't start then. It won't start until later. So then they will sell the home, and then all that money will pay off that $100,000. Whatever's left over, they will then take the money from his 401k, put that towards the $100,000. If he still owes money, then the Roost checks will be in line number one to garnish 60% of whatever is in his inmate account. But not until then. So we're talking about the civil case comes to an end, the home has to sell, then they take the money from his 401k, and so it could be November before they actually get around to taking anything from him from his prison account that is incoming. Hopefully October, November, but it takes time for the legal system to work, and that's if they put the house up for sale this summer, they could decide to wait on the home until next year, and very well could. I mean, they could sell it off to an investor who then decides to leave the place empty, keep the outside, up to date, and clean, and then so they don't get any fines from the city, for the grass growing too long, and the trees dead. But and then they wait until later on down the road, and then they sell it. But and for those who think that they should just bulldoze the house because nobody wants to live in it, you need to go onto Amazon and put in the search results, living in a home where a murder happened. There are hundreds of books on people out there who have written books on this exact subject, and there are realtors in America and internationally, all over the world, basically, who specialize in selling homes that where murders have happened. They're called distressed properties. They fall into that category, but they sell all the time, and nobody goes around bulldozing, money into a pit when they can wait, and as the media attention dies down, then they sell it and people move into them. All right, next question is from Philip 34. Philip 34 wants to know, has anyone visited Christopher Watts? I read that his parents were planning to visit him. Did this ever take place? No, not that I am aware of. The only people who have shown up on his visitation log, and the communications department at Dodge Correction Center has made the visitation log available to in somewhat regular fashion. They have posted it online and released it through the media. The only people who've shown up on his visitation log, besides the detectives and the FBI, was a reporter from CNN. And the reporter from CNN who showed up, he may be writing a book about Christopher Watts or familicide, family murderers. But Christopher Watts was a fan of his beforehand, and they've been in contact via email or letters or some other communications, because he has posted a couple things on the CNN website where he has actually it was part of his conversations with Christopher Watts. All right, next. This one comes from Sierra Killerton? I think that's how you pronounce it. Killerton? Sierra Killerton, YouTube subscriber, wants to know, is it true that Christopher Watts will be giving another interview to reporters from the Dodge Correction Center in July? I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry. I couldn't even speculate on that. I don't know why he would. He wouldn't get anything out of it. There's no financial gain for him to do that. And if he was to do that interview with, or speak with reporters, I don't see why he would want to do it, though. I mean, you have to think about it from Christopher Watts' side. He's a narcissist, and does he really want to keep his face in the media and keep the attention on him? I don't know. I don't really know if he wants to do something like that. But then again, being a narcissist, he very well might. Well, that's it. That is all of the Christopher Watts update for now, June 25th. I think you'll get this the 25th or 26th, either today or tomorrow. But that's Christopher Watts for you in a nutshell. I hope you found this informational. If you did, like the video, share the video, leave a comment down below. I will try to answer them, and like I do most days, I try to answer as many questions as I can within the first hour after the video has been uploaded. And you, in the meantime, stay safe out there.